Okay, all right. Yep, as the marketing material for Ready Player One started rolling out, the skeptic in me I didn't like any of it. The trailers, the posters, the look of the film in general, the blatant attempts to appeal to nostalgia. It felt so disingenuous and heavy-handed. Also, not having read the book, I had no affinity for the source material like some people do. I have, however, read some of the author's poetry. That being said, it's directed by Spielberg, so obviously a benefit of the doubt needs to be given. Now, I haven't had any interest in a lot of his recent films, but that being said, he's a living legend. Without 1993's Jurassic Park, there'd be no Godzilla 1997 probably. And I don't want to live in that world, quite frankly. So you know what? Open mind and all that. And I was also curious as to whether I could be turned around on the idea of this film, where everybody in the future lives in the internet, and apparently the most valued human commodity is being able to distinguish between various 1980s John Hughes high schools, and true love is determined by whether or not a person you're interested in can identify your Buckaroo Banzai costume. When the film screened at South by Southwest, the audience was so enamored with it, nobody seemed to care when the sound went out at one point, and the crowd went bananas when the emblem logo appeared at the beginning of the film. Now, no doubt a lot of people genuinely enjoyed it, and no doubt it had nothing to do with Spielberg himself being there, but at the same time, I feel like for some people it might have had a lot to do with Spielberg being there. And you know what? After getting to see it myself, I didn't hate it. Now, that might not sound like a solid gold endorsement, but as I'm sure you picked up on, a big part of me thought that I would hate this, despite me saying earlier that I was open-minded about it. But maybe I wasn't, you know? That's maybe just the thing you say going into a movie, but perhaps I wasn't being genuine and just trying to be impartial, whether or not that be true or not. Now, there's moments of it I really did not like. But overall, considering a lot of the film is just hundreds of references crashing into each other in CGI battles, I'm still slightly baffled I didn't dislike all of it. Because the visuals at points were a big problem for me. There's an opening shot where a camera zooms through the oasis, flipping and turning through CGI vistas. And maybe I'm getting old, which I am, or maybe I was sitting too close to the screen, which I was, but it was nauseating to watch. And there's more than one moment like that during the film, but that was the most disorientating. The muted color palette and design of the lead characters I didn't think were great, but you settle into it, and there's moments in the real world that feel just as fake as when we're in the Oasis. Also, I felt that the only times the pop culture references really felt forced was when the lead characters just started reciting lists of things to each other in moments of one-upmanship, and it was just no good. That being said, keeping your eyes peeled for unexpected cameos was fun. Every now and then I'd spot something like the Battletoads and think, oh hey, that's a really great inclusion. Also, the leads, despite being CGI for a majority of the film, are appealing if somewhat, I want to say dim-witted at times, but you do get a sense of camaraderie between them. That being said, if one of them put on a VR suit and ran off a cliff in real life, I can't say that I would care. Some of the core messages of the film I also can't really argue with. The internet should remain an equal playing field for all parties, and people should go outside or whatever. And corporations having sway and ownership over things that need to remain in public domain is bad. But when so much of this film is just video game mascots and billion-dollar movie properties running into each other, and everyone is just telling everyone else how great they look and are, there's something not quite right there. I can't wholeheartedly endorse this because I think this movie is either going to be a wild, nostalgic ride or a grating slog through a list of references from the 1970s to the modern day. It really depends on how you perceive it. Of course, there's going to be those, like me, who fall somewhere in the middle where it's entertaining enough, but it didn't really go beyond that. But did you like it? Did you find the constant references and callbacks too much, or was it a joy to behold? Or, somewhere in between. Also, I have so many questions about how this world works that I cannot for the life of me wrap my tiny brain around. But I can't get into that here because of spoilers. That being said, all of that will be explored in my podcast, The Weekly Planet, that comes out every Monday, where we always talk movies and comics and TV shows. Also, there's videos on this channel every Sunday, Tuesday, and Thursday, like my Infinity War trailer breakdowns. But all of that is compiled at planetbroadcasting.com, along with a bunch of other great stuff. All of that's linked below. But thanks for watching this. I appreciate it. Take care. Na 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 na. See, now I don't have to edit in the jingle at the end. Did the music myself. Saved a bit of time there.